I'm a venture investor, as Oscar mentioned. I co-founded a fund called Arbor Ventures. We are the largest Asia-based fintech firm, but we do invest globally. So we have portfolio companies from China down to Indonesia, US, Israel, and the GCC region. I love what I do for a living because every day I get up, I get to meet really smart, ambitious people who are trying to solve very difficult problems. But people often ask me, what do you do and how do I work with you? And I would tell you, writing that first check is actually the easiest part of my job. I spend 95% of the rest of my time working with my portfolio companies and hopefully someday getting my money back. So what do I do on any given day? I'm your biggest cheerleader. I will help you evangelize your brand, your product, your company. I will leverage my resources to help you make introductions to the next customer, next business partner, and the next investor. When you hit a rough patch, I'm there to give you a Band-Aid, but more importantly, to help you figure out what went wrong and what could you possibly do differently the next time. I can also be your extended HR team, leveraging my network to help you find that next great hire. And sometimes it's also my role to be critical, to keep you on your path so you don't stray from what we all agree to. One of the companies I invested in, first time I went to the board meeting, the CEO and another board member got in such a huge fight that nasty words simply weren't enough and projectiles started flying across the table. Luckily, I'm pretty nimble and I was able to duck. But like it or not, sometimes I'm the referee. I help navigate difficult relationships between co-founders and sometimes between other investors and to help you see each other's perspective. And as Wayne mentioned earlier, being an entrepreneur is really tough. I get it, I've been there. And sometimes it puts stress on every aspect of your life, not only at work, but often at home. So oftentimes I am the shrink, right? My entrepreneurs will come and sit on my couch and tell me what their problems are. And maybe sometimes because I'm the only woman in the room, they not only tell me what they're facing difficulties at work, but also in their personal lives. I may not be able to help you solve all your problems, but I can certainly empathize and perhaps share some of my perspectives. And this is not to tout how great I am. Every single one of your investors should be willing and able to do this for you. But keep in mind, we're all busy people. You're not their only portfolio company. So how do you make sure that you get an unfair share of their mind and their time? You have to be really smart about figuring out how to help me help you. Think about why you took money from these investors. And the answer better not be, well, they gave me money or they gave me the highest valuation. Hopefully your answer includes, well, I value their sector expertise. I value their strategic network. I think they have really interesting global insights. So you have to be very smart about leveraging and making your investors part of your extended team. But the only way your investors can truly help you is if you're willing to be open and transparent at all times, not only when things are going well. You cannot tell me at every single update that you're crushing it, only to whiff on the next quarter's budget because you lost that key account. You have to tell me what's keeping you up at night. What are you worried about? What's not going well? How can I help before it's too late? I know vulnerability is a very difficult thing to show, particularly for type A personalities, which I know a lot of entrepreneurs are. But that is, to me, a true sign of strength. Because we're there to help you, but we don't know how to help you if we don't know you're stuck. But when you do reach out for help, please make sure you stay very focused. One of my favorite entrepreneurs in my portfolio, CEOs, he sends me a to-do list every month, every quarter. It gets updated from time to time. Now, he doesn't expect me to do all of those things for him, but what it does show me is what are his 3 to 5 top priorities. So I can be focused when I think about how can I help in what's most critical, what's most time sensitive. And be very, very specific when you do reach out to ask for help. For example, if you're looking to hire someone, don't just say, well, I want a rock star head of sales. I want a rock star engineer. Well, of course, who doesn't want rock stars on their team? but show me their job spec. Tell me what are the 3 key technical skill sets that you think this person must have. Tell me what are the personality traits that you think will work well and gel well within your team. Maybe ideally you say, I would like this person to have come out of Alibaba in the back-end operations in e-commerce because that's a skill set I need. Or perhaps I want this person to have experience selling into the pharmaceutical industry because that's a new vertical I'm trying to launch. And maybe even tell me what stage of the company this person should have had experience at. Because if you're launching a new startup, having somebody who's only worked at Fortune 500 companies with huge marketing budgets may not be necessarily the right fit for you at this stage in time. So the more specific you can be, the more we can be helpful and not waste any time, anybody's time. And also do your research before you reach out to ask for help. By that, I mean, of course, you can reach out to your investors and board members, say, well, help me land a new customer, help me do this. But what's more effective, one of my companies came to me and said, hey, we're launching a new payment product for the travel vertical. I see that you're on the board of booking. Is there any way you can connect us to the right person who'd be willing to do a POC with us? That's very helpful, and I know what to do with that information, right? You can say, oh, I see, I went through your portfolio on your website, saw your portfolio company. I see that this particular VC has co-invested with you in 3 of your companies. You know, we think they'd be a good fit for us in our next round. We would love to have them on our cap table. Can you make an introduction? The key is when you can make these very targeted asks, not only are you much more likely to be successful in getting what you need, you frankly also make it really difficult for the other person to say no. But let's just say you're doing everything right? You've gotten great investors, you built great relationships with them, and you figured out how to leverage their resources to help you. At the end of the day, you're still always going to be faced with very difficult questions and hard questions that you have to solve. In fact, sometimes as investors and board members, we may give you conflicting advice. Right? One of my companies right now, we have a very lively debate at the board level. One investor says we should stay in the B2B lane. One says we need to go B2C. And there's pros and cons to both. But you have to remember, as a CEO, you are the ultimate decision maker. You have to be critical about the advice that you are getting, and you have to have conviction to make your own decision and drive that to a successful outcome. Peter Drucker, I think, had a very famous quote: every time you see a successful business, someone somewhere along the line made a courageous decision. And as an investor, I want that someone to be you. Thank you.